Hello, welcome back. Carne guisada de Puerto Rico. You heard me. Carne guisada de Puerto Rico. In essence, this is beef stew, Puerto Rican style. And this stew in Puerto Rico, we tend to eat it with a side of rice. But if you don't eat rice for health or fitness reasons, you can always use some cauliflower rice. It's up to you. The main purpose of this video is just to show you how I cook and create the carne guisada. And another thing, you can actually add also some pique. And I do have a link on how to create this. You can create it as hot or mild if you want. Add a little bit of pique. So, if you believe in my philosophy of cooking to enhance the senses, like the technique that I have used to create the dish, we're applying to cooking techniques to enhance the flavor and the aroma and the taste. Share with your friends and family so they can apply something similar. If you believe in cooking with natural ingredients the same way I prepare and I created this delicious meal without using artificial colorants or any of that stuff, subscribe if you decide to do so. Like if you feel that you agree with that. And comment whether you agree or disagree. I will always reply politely, and I reply to all my comments. So, go nowhere. Let's have some fun. Let's create. So here are my ingredients. I had the beef cubes. This is about 1 pound, just a tiny bit over a pound. I have smoked paprika, just a little bit for that amount. It's about a teaspoon. Same with the turmeric ground. I have some, a handful of olive without the seed. I have some pumpkin, about 5 tiny cubes, about an inch. I didn't peel them because I like them to stay, I don't want them to get too mushy when I'm cooking them. I have some cilantro for the final touch, it's optional. I have 3 tubes of garlic. You can use water, but I'm going to use beef stock because it gets more the flavor. Stock, in my opinion, is better than broth when it comes to bringing flavor, but you can use water. I have a couple cups. I might need a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I will have to see. I have some sofrito, and I have in my descriptions a link on how to create sofrito. But also, you can replace this sofrito by having about a teaspoon of chopped onions, about a teaspoon of garlic, about this amount of cilantro. You can also add some cumin, a little bit if you want to. About a teaspoon combined of green and red bell peppers. And then I'll show you how to do it, but I have a link on how to replace these two in my description. Some salt and pepper, ground pepper, and I have grated tomato, which is the type of homemade tomato sauce that I prefer to use in my meals. I grated the tomato. And finally, you're going to need some oil, and I prefer extra virgin olive oil. And you might want to have some vinegar handy. You're going to use a tiny bit. I'm going to do with the apple cider. You can use white vinegar too, but I'm going to use this one. And you have a bay leaf. So first you're going to get the meat ready. So what you do is you put some black pepper. The amount is up to you. You know, if you want this ready. You can do this overnight too, by the way. Some salt. Doesn't matter what type. I'm going with the sea salt. You can use kosher salt. You can use Himalayan salt. And then you're going to get some of the garlic and you're going to mince it. I use this, the thin part. Do the same with the other. But you do also this, you add about a cup of your vinegar. And I'm going to put a tiny bit of oil, just a tiny bit, a few drops. Then you use your hands and you mix everything up. And if you want to refrigerate it, what you do, you put in a Ziploc bag, put all the stuff inside. You might have to put, a bay leaf. And then next day you cook it. So you have the heat at high, you have a pan. Put some oil. Once again, I'm using extra virgin olive oil. Just move things around a little bit. And then you add your meat. And what you're doing is, you're not frying this, by the way. What you're doing is, once again, you are not frying this. What you're doing is you're searing this so it gets a nice dark color. And the flavors, the oil absorbs the flavors because you marinated this. Hopefully overnight or a few hours before. And you do this maybe for 3 minutes, maybe 5. You don't want to fry, you just want it darken. So I literally did this for about 2.5 minutes. It's not fully cooked, but it's dark and nice looking, see? 2.5 minutes, maybe 3. And this is ready. This being a cast iron. You put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil of your selection. And the first thing you do is use sofrito. Once again, there are 2 ways of doing the sofrito. You can do real time by putting the ingredients that replace this. Because this is preserved. I blended before, put in the refrigerator about 17 months ago because the way I do mine lasts a long time. I'm going to lower the heat because it's high now, very high. But if you add the ingredient I told you, like chopped onions, garlic, and the bell peppers and the cilantro, etc., you can do that too at the moment. So let's add this. Because you have to create your sofrito first. To then create the base. You do this for a few seconds. Few seconds. Then you add the tomato sauce. Going to put a couple of tablespoons. Mix it up a little bit. On top of the tomato sauce, put your smoked paprika and your turmeric. Mix it up a little bit. I lower the heat to medium because I don't want these burnt. See how beautiful it looks? So what you do now, you add your meat, and I add in the juices too, see? Because I want those flavors from my base to mix with the meat. In essence, what I did was, I braised this beef by doing it first in the pan with oil, and now doing it with the sauce. See how beautiful it's looking already? Going to put some olive, and I'm going to add the pumpkin. You can put potatoes if you want to. You know, you cut them like the pumpkin. And typically what I do when I use potatoes, I cut them and then I boil them for a little bit, you know, like 5 minutes, so they're softened. And then I put those potatoes already boiled. But I'm trying to keep an eye in the starch, see, starchy foods. So I decided not to go with the potatoes. Pumpkins is sufficient. Some people might put some carrots, I don't. No need for that. So what you do now, you add your broth. The amount is how soupy or how stewy you want this. I have 2 cups here. Let me see how it looks with 2 cups. You can put water too. And you know what? I'm going to probably put a little bit more. Because the way I see it is, you can actually, you don't have to, when you're serving, you don't have to serve the entire broth. It's about 1/4 here. Let me increase the heat to high again. You don't have to use the entire, you don't have to serve with the entire broth when you're serving. You know, you can make it soupy, you might make it less soupy. And it comes down to that. So I have it at high, because I want it to boil for a little bit. Let me add more. It's a visual thing. But you have to take an important step now. You have to give this a taste. You need salt. So you put the amount of salt that you want based on your taste. Yeah, I want a little bit of salt. And you start cooking this. So it started to boil. So what you're going to do now, and before you go to the next step, you add the bay leaf. So let me explain something. You know when this is ready, when the pumpkin is ready, when the pumpkin is soft, very soft, you know it's ready. The meat is not going to be the determining factor in this case because the meat was already seared and it's going to cook faster. But the pumpkin is going to be, or the squash if you prefer, it's going to be the determining factor. I'm going to lower the heat now to a notch or so above medium. And I'm going to cover this up. And once again, it's not a timing factor, but a feeling factor. You're going to feel that pumpkin. So I'm going to let it cook for about maybe 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes to give it a first shake. So let's make it 5 minutes. And then you shake it and then you continue doing that process. So it's been 5 minutes. Let me take a look at things. Let me lower the heat to a couple notches below medium. I say have 2 more minutes to go. Yeah, pumpkin is almost there. So I'm going to cook it for a couple more minutes. But before I take it to the final legs, I'm going to add my cilantro to give it that earth touch, flavor, and smell. Because you're cooking with all your senses, right? So I put a little bit, let it run. Once again, I reduce the heat from to a couple notches below medium. Oops, I dropped something. And I come and cover up. Set 2 minutes, maybe 3. Let's take a look. Oh, it's looking beautiful. Yep. Enough broth if you want it brothy. But you can always scoop this stuff out and put just a little bit. Ain't that beautiful? Look at the cilantro. Yeah, it smells good too.